Understanding the Spiritual World. Episode 2. The Realm of Darkness. Understanding evil in the spirit world. You live in a world that often reduces evil to psychology, trauma, or politics. But what if there's more to evil than bad behavior or broken systems? What if some of the darkness we see in the world, addiction, oppression, cruelty, torment, is rooted in an invisible war, a war between light and darkness? The Bible reveals that there is a realm beyond the physical, a spiritual dimension, and not all of it is good. Scripture tells us that Satan, once an exalted angel, rebelled against God. He became the adversary, the father of lies, the accuser and the deceiver of the world. John 8:44, Revelation 12:9. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians chapter 6:12. This is not fantasy. It's biblical reality. And around the world, many cultures echo this reality. In contrast to the West's secular skepticism, many animistic cultures in Africa, Asia, the Pacific Islands and South America live with a daily awareness of the spiritual world. In these societies, it is common to believe in ancestral spirits and territorial spirits, witchcraft or curses, possession or spiritual affliction. These people may not know the God of the Bible, but they don't question the reality of spirits, both good and evil. And in Papua New Guinea, for example, villagers may consult a spirit medium when crops fail. In parts of West Africa, curses and spiritual oppression are taken as serious causes of illness or misfortune. Why is this important? Because while Western secularism laughs at the idea of demons, much of the non-Western world lives in conscious interaction with spiritual powers, often in fear. Even missionaries report that when the gospel enters these regions, it's the power of Jesus over demonic spirits that first awakens faith and awe. In stark contrast, many modern secular humanists reject the existence of Satan or demons altogether. To them, evil is the result of ignorance, evolutionary survival instincts, trauma or social constructs, mental illness. The famous atheist Richard Dawkins called the idea of Satan a pre-scientific fantasy. Many others argue that belief in the devil is a way to avoid personal responsibility or explain what we don't yet understand. But this worldview fails to explain something deeper, something darker. It cannot explain why people commit atrocities they themselves can't explain. Why cruelty sometimes feels energized, irrational, almost inhuman. As author Neil Anderson writes in The Bondage Breaker, we often treat the symptoms of evil, not the source. But behind many struggles is a spiritual conflict that cannot be solved with medication or self-help. Scripture offers no such denial. It tells the story of Jesus confronting evil spirits directly. In Mark 5, he meets a man tormented by demons so fierce they called themselves Legion. This man was violent, naked, self-harming, but at Jesus' command, the demons fled, and the man was restored, clothed, and in his right mind. In Luke 13, Jesus heals a woman who had been crippled by a spirit of infirmity for 18 years. In Acts 16, Paul delivers a young girl who was spiritually bound by a spirit of divination. These were not metaphors. These were manifestations of the real, destructive power of darkness. Satan and demonic spirits often work in subtle ways, through deception, accusation, bitterness and unforgiveness, occult involvement, fear and shame. Mike Connell warns, demons look for legal access points, places where sin, trauma, or unforgiveness have opened the door. And Chris Vallotton writes, the spiritual realm is not just theory. It affects marriages, mental health, cities, and nations. If we ignore it, we fight blind. The enemy wants to remain undetected. If he can convince the modern mind he doesn't exist, he can operate without resistance. But when the light of Christ shines, the darkness is exposed. The good news is that Satan is not God's equal. He's already been defeated. The Son of God appeared for this purpose, to destroy the works of the devil. Colossians 2:15 declares, "Having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross." Jesus cast out demons with a word. He silenced storms and stilled fear. And his Spirit now lives in his people, giving them authority to walk in freedom. So what does this mean for you? Don't fear the enemy, but don't ignore him either. Paul told the Corinthians not to be unaware of Satan's schemes. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Guard your heart and mind. Lies are Satan's language. Truth is your weapon. Jesus said, "I have given you authority over all the power of the enemy." Luke 10:19. James 4:7 gives us this promise. Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. The realm of darkness is real, but it is not ultimate. Jesus is the light of the world, and his light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. John chapter 1:5. So come to the light and live and walk in his presence.